Greetings from the plate of history. Follow the trail of scent to unfold a world map. From wild seeds at the bottom of Neolithic pots to Egypt's incense. From Silk Road caravans to monsoon winds. From Da Gama's sea route to the VOC's monopoly. From royal banquets to common kitchens. From medicine and myth to today's global pantry. With a pinch of flavor, we step into a story thousands of years in the making. The search for flavor is older than we think. At the bottom of Neolithic pots, archaeologists found wild mustard seeds. No nutritional value, but sharp on the nose. Even hunter-gatherers, 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, were already adding taste to their food. It seems the human palate was driven by curiosity long before hunger. With civilization, spice found meaning, smoke in rituals, remedy in medicine, aroma at the table. From the 2nd millennium BCE onward, texts trace fragrant plants everywhere, from sacred offerings and burial rites to ointments and meals. Along the Nile, an exotic scent drifted. Ancient Egypt imported cinnamon and cardamom from the land of Punt, using them in mummification and incense. These aromas weren't just pleasure, they were part of preparing for eternity. Between the Tigris and Euphrates, clay tablets spoke: thyme, saffron, cumin, sesame. In Mesopotamia, herbs meant both flavor and strength. Records tell of workers given garlic and onions for endurance. Beyond the monsoon rains, in India, a holy trinity of spices shaped life for millennia: black pepper, turmeric, and cardamom. Flavor in the pot, balance in Ayurveda. The same grains united food and healing at one table. Two scenes from East Asia. In the Chinese imperial court, courtiers chewed cloves for fresh breath. Sailors carried pots of fresh ginger on long voyages. Spice was both etiquette and sustenance. From the Aegean to Rome, in Hippocrates' prescriptions, thyme, saffron, cinnamon. In Roman wine, cinnamon and clove. After the baths, spice-infused oils on the skin. Luxury and healing met in the same scent. In short, the journey expanded from local to distant. The taste of wild herbs linked to the secrets of tropical islands. Humanity was now ready to cross borders, deserts, and oceans in pursuit of flavor. The scent of spice once rode the winds across continents. Cinnamon from China, nutmeg from Indonesia, pepper from India. Each journey could change the fate of empires. Every grain was a treasure, every route a mystery. To protect their secrets, traders invented legends. Cinnamon gathered from the nests of giant birds. Cloves said to grow on islands beneath the sea. At first, spice traveled overland. Camels crossed deserts stretching from the Himalayas to Mesopotamia. Caravans moved endlessly between China, Persia, and Rome. A branch of the Silk Road was thick with the aroma of spice. But the road was long, dangerous, and costly, which is why spice was worth its weight in gold. Then came the sailors. Around 1500 BCE, Malay-Polynesian navigators discovered the monsoon winds, and spice began to move with the waves. Ships left India's ports, reached the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf, then carried their cargo to the Mediterranean. The sea had become the new road of spice. Masters of this network were the Arab traders. From Aden to Hormuz, from Jeddah to Cairo, ships loaded with spice. In the markets of Baghdad and Damascus, it was weighed against gold. Venetian and Genoese merchants ferried these fragrant goods to Europe, turning profits into fortunes. Then Venice claimed its monopoly. By the 13th century, the Queen of the Mediterranean taxed every clove and peppercorn that arrived from the east. Europe's nobles were so dependent that obtaining spice became a royal pursuit. But the balance of power shifted. In 1453, the Ottomans conquered Constantinople. The eastern Mediterranean was now theirs. Europe struggled to reach the spices of the East, and prices soared sky-high. The only solution, to find new routes. And one question changed history. Could there be another way to reach the lands of spice? Sailors turned their compasses westward in search of an answer. In 1492, Columbus set sail for India and found America instead. He didn't bring back black pepper, but a different fire, chili. From that moment, the world transformed. The spice routes shifted, from east to west, from land to sea, from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. Global trade was born, and the age of discovery began. The scent of spice could now be traced not just in kitchens, but along the very map of the world. By the late 15th century, the winds had shifted. Europe could no longer reach the fragrant East by land. Ottoman taxes and Venetian monopolies made spices nearly untouchable. The only answer was to sail into the unknown. And in 1498, when Vasco da Gama rounded the Cape of Good Hope and reached India, history changed course. The path of spice was now upon the sea. Da Gama's voyage turned a small kingdom into an empire. Portuguese ships seized ports one by one: Goa, Malacca, Hormuz, Aden. In the heart of the Indian Ocean, a new network emerged. Cloves, nutmeg, and pepper now flowed straight into Lisbon. Each ship was worth its weight in gold. But the allure of that scent was too powerful to share. By the late 16th century, Spain, Holland, and England entered the stage. The Spanish sailed west, their Manila galleons linking the Philippines to Mexico, trading Asia's spices for America's silver. For the first time, 3 continents joined in one chain of commerce. In 1602, the Dutch founded the VOC, a trading army so powerful it became history's first corporation. Their eyes were fixed on the Spice Islands. In 1621, to control the nutmeg trade, thousands of Bandanese islanders were killed. Spice was no longer just flavor. It had become the symbol of empire and exploitation. The English were not far behind. In 1600, they established the East India Company and claimed footholds in Indian ports. By the 18th century, they had taken Bengal and then Ceylon. From pepper to cinnamon, cardamom to ginger, spice now pulsed through the veins of the British Empire. These wars fought over flavor created a new world order. For the first time, the global economy truly lived up to its name. Asian spice, American silver, African labor, and European capital intertwined. Maps were redrawn, and the seas became the fate of nations. Magellan's 1519 circumnavigation captured the spirit of this age. Of 5 ships that set sail, only 1 returned, its hold filled with cloves. Yet that single ship carried the first aroma to circle the globe. Spice changed not only trade and navigation, but science itself. The new scent of the oceans no longer came only from India. It came from humanity's unending desire to explore. In medieval Europe, spice was synonymous with wealth. Royal feasts overflowed with dishes covered in black pepper, saffron, ginger, and cinnamon. Meats, desserts, and wines were drenched in heavy aromas. It wasn't just a matter of taste, it was a display of power. The more spice, the higher the status. But things were different in the village kitchen. Ordinary people had little beyond onions, garlic, salt, and a few wild herbs. In some countries, laws even forbade noble spices from being used by commoners. The color of saffron, quite literally, marked the boundaries of class. Then came the sailors, trade expanded, and spice prices began to fall. By the 16th and 17th centuries, cinnamon, clove, and pepper slowly found their way into local markets. What once perfumed palaces now simmered in humble countryside pots. Curiously, as spice became widespread, the wealthy turned away from it. In the 18th century, French cuisine began to label excessive spice as common. Butter, wine, and fresh herbs took its place. Flavor had changed hands, just like fashion. Yet spice never lost its power. It remained the secret to creating richness with little. Ottoman, Indian, and Arab cuisines had long known this truth. A pinch of cumin, a hint of cinnamon, and a simple meal became a feast. Spice was more than flavor, it was a shield. Clove, thyme, and pepper kept microbes at bay. Cinnamon's scent could save spoiled meat. During the plague, doctors filled the beaks of their masks with clove and herbs, believing it purified the air. Spice was everywhere, in incense, ointments, perfumes, and temples. It brought taste to food, fragrance to rooms, and healing to the body. From royal banquets to common homes, its journey was the story of equality in the kitchen. Today, when we add a pinch of salt or a dash of pepper, we unknowingly follow the trail of a 1,000-year transformation. The very grains that once symbolized empires now sit within everyone's reach. Spice has become the world's most democratic flavor. The scent of spice seeped not only into kitchens, but also into the laboratories of medicine. In Egypt's Eber's papyrus appeared cumin, fennel, and mint. In Hippocrates' prescriptions, cinnamon, thyme, and saffron, turmeric, ginger, clove. For thousands of years, both food and cure, humanity found taste and healing in the same spice. From Ayurveda to the Chinese court, from Mesopotamia to Athens, the thread was continuous. Spice eased digestion, healed wounds, freshened breath. Over time, it became a bridge between folk medicine and science. Every age wrote its own prescription for spice, and modern science confirmed it. Eugenol in cloves still soothes toothache, curcumin in turmeric, gingerol in ginger, and cinnamon's blood sugar balance, all validated in labs. The wisdom of ancient kitchens now meets the rigor of modern medicine. Spice remains a shared remedy between past and present, but the influence of spice was felt not only in the body, it reshaped maps. Voyages launched in pursuit of flavor gave birth to the science of navigation. Astrolabes, compasses, wind charts, all byproducts of the quest for taste. Each new route turned a new page in scientific history. The prophets of spice, too, nourished science and art. Venetian merchants and Amsterdam bankers used their fortunes to build universities and libraries. Spice money became telescopes, maps, and canvases for paintings, funding the renaissance of ideas. Culturally, spice was where tongues and tastes met. Cloves brought by Arab traders transformed European cuisine. Chili peppers carried by Columbus reshaped Asia's. The heat in today's Indian curry is, in truth, a gift from the Americas. And of course, spice entered the realm of myth. In the Arabian Nights, Sinbad battles giant serpents in the Spice Islands. European writers wove the scents of the East into their tales. Spice became the fuel of imagination. In the end, spice was more than flavor. It was a vessel of culture. Across caravans, ships, and marketplaces, not only powders but also languages, beliefs, and ideas were exchanged. Flavor, trade, and medicine. Together they wrote humanity's story in scent. Once, spice was weighed against gold. Today it sits quietly on supermarket shelves in glass jars. Yet inside those jars lies a journey of millennia, a scent that built empires, sparked discoveries, and gathered the world around one table. Now spice is no longer a weapon of power, but a thread of connection. Pepper from Vietnam, cinnamon from China, turmeric from India, all travel the world in the same ships and containers. Each grain carries a piece of a global story. India remains the kingdom of spice. The pepper of Kerala, the cardamom of Tamil Nadu, they flavor the world's kitchens. China follows with ginger and star anise. Vietnam leads in black pepper. Indonesia, with the fragrance of clove, still whispers of the old spice islands. Some spices, though, still keep their ancient glory. Iran's red gold, saffron, rivals the price of precious metal. Madagascar's vanilla is the secret hero of desserts worldwide. But spice no longer has a monopoly. Flavor knows no borders. Global cuisines now speak through spice. Indian curry, Mexican chili, Chinese five-spice, Italian basil, all meet at the same table. To season a dish is to add another culture's story to the plate. Spice lives even in pop culture. Pumpkin spice coffees, turmeric lattes, gingerbread cookies. The modern world rediscovers old aromas in new forms. With the rise of health trends, natural flavor is valuable once again. Today, spice is part of identity as much as taste. Every nation offers its own blend to the world. Every person meets another culture through scent. This is the new power of spice, to mix cultures and dissolve boundaries. In the end, spice still unites the world. It may no longer be gold, but it remains priceless, the language of shared flavor. Every dish is an echo of the past, every aroma, a continuation of a 1,000-year story. Spice, the common heritage of humanity in the age of global taste. A pinch of pepper, perhaps the most expensive powder in history. Seas were crossed for it, wars were fought, maps were redrawn. And yet today, we sprinkle it freely by hand. Tiny, but a taste that changed the world. Spice. It was a journey that stretched from the bells of caravans to the sails of ships, from royal kitchens to humble homes. Each grain was an echo of humanity's search for flavor. A pinch of spice could be fortune, cure, or hope. Hold a stick of cinnamon, and you can almost hear the sails crossing the Indian Ocean. In a clove, the sweat of those who toiled in the Spice Islands. In a strand of saffron, the patience of the Persian soil. Spice didn't just blend into food, it blended humanity itself. The invisible thread between flavor, trade, and medicine turned the world into a shared table. Every scent became the voice of a culture. Today, spice may no longer be weighed in gold, but it still carries an invaluable legacy. Every grain tells a 1,000-year story of discoveries, of trade, of faith, and of dreams. So when you add a pinch of spice to your meal, you're also adding a pinch of history. The powders that once changed the world still live on our tables, each one carrying the scent of the past into the present. A pinch of history, the taste of millennia. The story of spice hasn't ended. It simply lives on, in our kitchens. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Share your favorite spice or the dish you love it in. Who knows, we might tell its story next time. See you again for another pinch of history.